go up and down become very difficult, very difficult. But we managed to do because they are all so young and healthy.
And a little bit for the first battle, there was a sentence about the sky and being drawn, the sky being drawn, and that, for me, I interpret as a motivation, a confrontation. That sentence that was said to the main character.
Yeah, Macduff, and then
Is that a koan?
not necessarily koan, but purely through Zen way of thinking. So in this play, have a lot of Zen philosophy.
And why is it that sentences create so much rage and is so poorly taken by the main character? Why is it so he gets so angry and so insulted by that sentence?
Well, I think it's the way that I take it as a personal attack. I think he's talking about since I've become ingrained, the world has toppled. At least that's the way I take it. And also the way he says it, with all of the inflection, it's pretty direct. The word, if you couldn't notice, is it's kind of specific.
Yeah.
Say something this year, and then you don't turn, and you say something right next to that other person. So that last word was delivered literally right to my face, which to me seemed like a personal attack. I think that's how Macbeth takes it too.
I'm curious too, because you've had pretty rare opportunity of playing Macbeth twice. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been in.
I hope that doesn't say something about me.
You're very ambitious.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Larry.
But yeah, could you talk a little bit about that, because you have the experience. For those of you who maybe saw it, it was production of Macbeth. What was it, a year ago, 2 years ago?
Last year.
Just last year, and also, well, you were in that, right, Luke?
I was.
You were one of the witches, and one of our other witches was also a witch back then.
Yeah, a lot of us were actually.
There's a few of us.
Right, a good number of you, but you are actually the same guy. So, what was that like?
Well, I think you said something really important, that I think it's the same guy.
Yeah.
It's the same guy going through the same things, just different text and different style. I mean, it's not fun. I'm usually not in a very good mood.
Sure.
Like around the time that I do this show, and at the end of the show, I'm not necessarily thrilled with everything. But I don't know. I think there's more. This time around, I feel like because of the people I get to work with, and also being a second time, I think more of his humanity and his ambition. I think it's easier to find this time. I don't know if it's done before or not.
No, I mean, that's really interesting, right? Because it's like you play Macbeth, and then you have a year off. You maybe never expect to play Macbeth again.
Right.
And then you get this other chance and get to work at it, right? I mean, the same person, the same personality, but in a new style that I imagine opens up new opportunities. Plus, you have more knowledge of the guy. Anyway, so
I also think people forget he's a warrior. Like that is what he.
You lose that in Shakespeare, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I forget that when you read the Shakespeare play, because you don't see him. You really don't see him fight at all until the very end of the play. So you forget he's a warrior, but in this, it's very clear. I think from the beginning how the setup is. And the first time you see him, and even the way Sensei gets him lower, 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 as low as you can go, as a reminder to the audience that he's a warrior.
And you touched on something that I've been wanting to ask you, to Professor Sato, which is, do you think acting's acting regardless of style? What do you think acting is? Is there a Zen answer for what acting is?
I
Why do we act? That's 5 questions, but any of them would be fine.
I think we do act every day without knowing.
Yeah.
However, on the stage, we glorify ourselves for creating characters. Then I think this is the unique art form that human create another human. And that ultimate is man playing female part in traditional Kabuki. The upset things, and how well you can convince the audience to erase who you are as a male actor, but convince the audience to be, she is female. You know, that is the typical Kabuki. So we study everything from nature, natural surrounding, and then depict certain characterizations or personalities for male or female, and its most appealing part has been poured out and then crystallized, and then brought to the stage and then expanded. And that is Kabuki method in a sense. So actors to act on stage. In Japan, however, I told our cast member, we have Shinto shrine, god of acting, since beginning of Japan, in the historical about 2,600–700 years ago, recorded, there is the acting god. Because actors change their nature to become somebody else. That's only like God, not in Western concept of God, but Japanese sense of God. And so that kind of sort of stimulating as well as the respect from the general public, the person who can become somebody else. So for that, this American student becoming Japanese character. Don't be shy.
I'd like to ask then, everybody, since I think we have
Everybody.
everybody lined up.
Sit down, sit down, sit down.
We're just getting a chair.
I think we're just getting a chair.
I'd like to hear from several actors about what you come up against in working on this, what you find out, whether just anything you almost want to say about having worked on this and comparing that with how you've been trained, where you're going, what you've learned. Because one thing that jumps out in watching this, right, is the tremendous specificity to everything that you do, and that can only help an actor, I think, in anything. But I'd just like to hear.
Well, something for me, at least, that I learned a lot in this art form was taking my time. I really want to get through rehearsals and do the right thing and give the good performance. And here, your movements and your voice are so divided that you really just have to stop, say what you mean, then do the movement, then let that sit, and then say something else. So that was really difficult, but the thing that was consistent with my other training in the other Macbeth and Midsummer and all those other shows was the intention. Shozo basically would point to the intention and say, this is where you're really excited, so that leads to your vocal choice, which leads to your physical choice, and it is more specific, but at the root of it, it's just one intention that he wanted us to play, which was, it was like learning a new language with words that you already knew. I don't know, it's hard to describe.
No, I mean, just believe that.
Something that I learned through this process was a lesson on trust and just trusting myself and trusting the process and trusting like fellow actors on stage, and trusting the director that what is being told to you is for a reason and not to push it away even if it's challenging. So I found that just trusting the process and trusting that it will all come together is really what got me through this, because it was really challenging at first. But when I finally just gave into it and followed the directions and was specific and worked with the costumes and trusted the makeup and trusted that it was all going to be there, that's when it really started to click for me. So I think that's sort of what I've taken from this production and what I want to take with me to other productions, just trusting the work and trusting the whole process.
For me, the biggest challenge was figuring out what Kabuki is and how do we properly convey the style and all that stuff. And I remember at the beginning, especially for me, I felt like everything was just coming off so generally, like we were just speaking up and down the whole time. It was this kind of big, blob. And Shozo, over the course of his form of directing, he says, "I will add Kabuki soy sauce." Also, give you little bits of what of a Kabuki gesture or a Kabuki way of speaking, and with those little I guess paintbrush strokes, because he kept talking about it like a canvas, like a painting, and that's when it started to really take shape. And that's when I felt safe to start making my own choices and bringing my own stuff to the table and seeing if my own stuff was working. And and he was great about cultivating it and letting it breathe. So that's how I got over that.
I think something that was really rare and different about this experience too is that because the style is so different and so foreign to all of us, it put all of us on the same level. So regardless of like if you're a grad student or how much training you had, everybody was at zero to start with. And I think that really helped create a tight-knit group and made the show a big ensemble piece, which is great.
Yeah, I wish you guys could have seen some of these rehearsals because it's not really just like Dana on stage talking for 3 hours or me on stage talking. The rehearsals were all of us together learning a dance is how we started. And we all learned that. Did we ever talk about that? No. We learned a dance, a punch-through dance. And all of us did it together. We all start the day by cleaning the floor together as a group. And yeah, it was cool.
One of the terms that we use in this particular department a lot is process, not product, which was really, really true here. Especially because I did a lot of watching of the process. And like Joe said, how Sensei would slowly add soy sauce. You were never really sure where you were in the soy sauce adding process. It was like, are we 50% there? Are we there? Like, because you would do, and I would watch you guys get to a certain point with it and feel comfortable there. We'd be there. You'd have that for like a day, and then the next day more soy sauce would be added, and it would be something new and more and just yes.
It's a little more than soy sauce, really.
Yeah.
Right?
Wasabi.
For each day to make a better recipe.
Yeah. And I remember thinking, like a week before we opened, I just remember thinking to myself, like, there has to be at least 8 more soy sauce processes that happen here. Like, and then all of a sudden the show opens and you realize that, no, we've somehow gotten here, and this is where we are, and it all worked. It was, yeah, you really did have, like Dana said, you had to trust the costumes and the makeup and the set, and all of a sudden we got on stage, and we got into costume, we got into makeup. I think we had 1 dress rehearsal. 1 or 2 dress rehearsals. I think 1 with like the full makeup and costume and everything. And I think before we were all like freaking out and going, oh my God, this is the craziest thing we've ever done. And all of a sudden we're all on stage and it somehow fit together in this perfect painting. And you have no idea how you got there.
I have a question. Well, does anyone else have a question? Go for it. Yeah.